Are you thinking about making a podcast? Spotify has a platform that lets you make one, and if I can figure it out, you definitely can too. You can create your own content all in one place for free with zero hangups and even earn money as soon as you get started. Spotify lets you record and edit episodes from your phone or computer so you can go mobile, just like I enjoy to do. My favorite thing about it is that you can create video episodes if you wish and upload them to wherever podcasts are heard. You can even set up subscriptions, or if you're like me, listener support options for listeners to help you grow. I 10 out of 10 recommend the Spotify for Podcasters app. Or, why don't you just step over to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started on your own podcast. If you like what we do here at Off the Deep End and wish to support us, the best thing you can do is to share it on your social media, but also you can tell your mother, sister, cousin, auntie, the kid that's walking by you down the street, your gym crush, anybody about the episode you're listening to and why you liked it. There's also another way to support us, and it's to go to the link posted in the description and on our Facebook page. And when you become a subscriber, you'll have access to subscriber-only content and ad-free listening for every single episode we put out. No matter what you choose to do, I do greatly appreciate you for tapping in, and please do reach out to our Facebook page so we can chat. Tell us what you feel, what you think, what you don't like, what I could improve upon. At the end of the day, this is meant to be a conversation starter. And just to be completely open and honest, every single penny that goes to the Off the Deep End program with subscribers is going to help other people by spreading the word via ads or getting new microphones so we can have more people at a time. And I really do appreciate every single listener. So thank you so much. I hope you have a great day and don't pass the pain. All right, joining me all the way from California, Mr. Ben Biggs. Thank you for your time, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, man.
Well, let's get started with what was your job in the Navy? Can you break down what it was like for you?
Yeah, so I was active duty for 6 years, and I was a fire controlman. So I was a CWIS tech, actually. So I was on the bottom Richard for 4 years, and just enlisted guy, CWIS tech. Yeah, man. Top side engineer.
Very cool, very cool.
Yeah.
And I know that the CWIS is that R2D2 that goes brrr, so that's how a lot of people know it on the internet.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So the CWIS it's a phenomenal weapon. It's so cool to fire. It's so cool to look at and watch fire. It's a lot of work. It's a ton of work to maintain. The thing is just nonstop, 24/7. So yeah, man. I mean, being on the BHR for that time period, being forward deployed over in Seventh Fleet, it really was a defining period in my life, just because of the op tempo out there is really high. You're out 3 4 months, back 3 4 months, out 3 4 months, back 3 4 months, and it's just like permanently inspections going on, just 24/7 op tempo. So
yeah, and all the gear has to be up to speed. So yeah, well, that's pretty wild. So what led to you transferring out of the military?
I think probably a lot of sailors could identify with this, because I started a family. And while I did like the Navy, I mean, it's not like I have some I had some grudge against the Navy, or I was like really bitter. I just was like, man, I don't know. I'm kind of a wuss. Like, I kind of want to just like, I don't know if I can do this whole 8 9 month 10 month deployment thing. I just don't know if I can do that, if I want to do that. So this kind of had some moments of reckoning, and I wasn't as far up in the ranks as I thought I would be at that point. And so I was just like, man, maybe I can just cut base. I just seawayed out. I seawayed out straight into the Sunrise Reserve Fleet. So
Very cool. Yeah. Well, I think that a lot of, in my experience, and a lot of other people definitely can identify with that. It at some point it doesn't become worth it, and on all aspects, it's just not physically worth it. It's not worth the emotion,
right,
not worth the time from the family, not worth the pay,
yeah,
not worth the stress. And as people often know, there's a lot of stress that comes with the military, and we don't want to bring that home to our families, especially not when we have little ones.
yeah, yeah. I mean, dude, the military, with the workload that we have, it can get it can get crazy, and it can affect other areas of your life without you meaning it to. And not every time. I mean, there's people sitting on golden orders, just doing, like just with chilling, coasting, having it easy. But you know, which is nothing against them. If you do have great orders, good. hey, ride it out, man. I'm all for it. But if you don't have that, if you're working high up tempo stuff, like you got to watch your mental health, man. It's just like that can wreck you, dude. High up tempo can wreck you quick.
It definitely can. It
Yeah.
definitely. I've definitely struggled with it. Coming back. So, okay. Well, so you got out of the military, and what brought you to San Diego?
Man, so I grew up all over the East Coast, the South, and kind of the Midwest, Wyoming. I grew up all over the country. My parents went separate ways, and they just kind of each went different states. They each lived in different states, so I would just kind of bounce back and forth from where they were living. So I've lived in Wyoming, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Colorado, Texas, Arkansas, all over. And so like I was either in a place that it was very, very hot, or very, very cold, or very humid, and I was like. I got to San Diego for C school. I was here for 11 months for C school back in 2011. And I landed off the plane from Chicago, and it was like, whatever, like 10 degrees in Chicago. And I landed off the plane to San Diego, and I was like, mad. I was like, people live like this? It's like, this is insane. I was like, this is not real life. So I was here for 10 months or 11 months on night school, and like, going to school 3 or 4 hours a day. And the rest of the time I was just off and going hiking, going downtown. And it was just like, this is the best place ever.
Yeah, I definitely love being stationed there. Was whoo man, it was it's unreal. I'm from Washington State, so I'm like a couple states above that, and so
Yeah.
it's rainy, and then it's really beautiful during the summer and the spring, and it's a great
Oh,
place.
yeah.
There's so much hiking. If you're into hiking, this is the spot for you. If you're not into hiking, you probably want to be somewhere like Florida or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
California.
I am into
So
hiking too, so it's good we have the mountains. But man, I've never been to Seattle. I've never been to Washington State, but I have been to Portland, and I've heard that it's kind of a similar, like in terms of mountains and greenery, it's kind of
oh
similar.
yeah,
So I thought
oh
like
yeah.
I went to Portland. I was just there for like a conference one time. I was like, this place is absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. So
It
I
gets
love,
overwhelming. And
yeah,
I would say honestly, drive just past Seattle and then be away from the city of Seattle itself.
yeah,
Everywhere around it is so beautiful. If you go to Seattle right now versus 20 years ago, you'll be so thoroughly disappointed.
yeah,
In its beauty has decreased significantly. But just outside of there, if you Washington State is beautiful, you can drive 45 minutes and be in a completely different state feeling wise.
yeah.
So you're in San Diego. Um, you were looking for jobs. When did you stumble upon this thing about selling houses and finding people forever homes?
Yeah, great question, man. So before I joined the Navy, I lived in Denver, and I had a couple businesses, or I tried my hand at starting a couple different small companies in Denver while I was there, and I was very young. I was 18, 19, 20, 21, around that age, and I was trying to make a run at it. I went really hard for a couple years. I ran really hard, ran myself to the ground, lost a ton of money, had a lot of failures, and I ended up along like roundabout ways through other adventures. I ended up in the military just to try to like I wanted to get into my career. I wanted to get into something and finish it while I was still in my 20s because I knew college wasn't really an option for me. I had ADD. I can't sit still more than like 10 minutes. So I just knew college wasn't going to be for me. I can't do all that stuff. So I was like, dude, screw it. I'm going to enlist and I'm just going to go for it. And I signed up for 6 years with the CWIS or the FC rating. It's a 6-year investment. And I said, dude, I'm just going to go for it. And when the whole time I was in, I was like, man, what am I going to do when I get out? And I had plenty of time on deployments to think about that. And I knew I wanted to get back into business. And I knew I loved working and helping people, working with people. And so I felt like some sort of a sales thing because I like people. And then real estate to me, I think just as an investment vehicle, caught my attention personally as something I want to invest in. And then I purchased a house here and decided I want to get into the agent side.
Very cool. Wow. Okay, so what is the first thing so let's say I'm walking around San Diego. I'm like, wow, it looks beautiful here. What's the first thing I would do if I was a homeowner? What is the first thing that you're going to recommend me to start looking at?
Yeah, I mean, San Diego's all about lifestyle. It's about enjoying the amenities that we have here. I mean, obviously, it depends on. That's the great thing about San Diego. It depends on whatever you like. We've got it all. I mean, within a 2-hour radius of San Diego, we have everything that Mother Nature, Earth has to offer. We've got skiing, we've got Tahoe, we got Big Bear, we've got incredible national parks and mountain ranges. Just 30 minutes away, incredible mountain biking. We've got the best beaches in the world. We got Mexico right there. Get some of the best tacos that they make. I mean, it's up to you. If you're a family person, you got SeaWorld, Zoo, Safari Park, Water Park, Disneyland up the coast. I mean, it just depends on what you want.
Very cool. Very cool. So there's a little bit of everything. I like that. I've always wanted to make sure that wherever I go in the future, and the future is looking nice for me. Obviously with my injury, I have all this time to think, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
should I go to Texas? Should I go into law enforcement? Should I stay in the elevator game, escalator game? What's in the? I might not have a future in a lot of things, depending on what my surgeon says. But ultimately, I was like, oh, my wife's doing real estate school right this second, and she's doing
Okay.
all. She's going through the paces with it. She'll be up till like 1 a.m. going over the information, and it wows me how much goes into real estate. And I think it comes down to very similar to cosmetology and doing hair, knowing how to deal with individuals and how to make their goals. Because ultimately, if they can see themselves in a house, they're usually going to go for it. So I found the perfect location. I've all these things I want to do. What do I need to do on my end to make sure I'm a good everything goes smoothly for the real estate agent?
You mean like if you're a home buyer or seller and you want to purchase? I mean, I think it. You just need to engage a good agent. That's our job, is to make it go smoothly. I think it's very important if you're looking to buy or sell, to get referred someone. So I wouldn't I would first thing is I would absolutely not just jump on Zillow or Redfin and just click the button and get an agent just assigned to you. Ask
Mhm.
around, ask a friend, family member, um, someone that you trust and maybe that purchased recently, how their experience was, and get referred someone. That way, you have a more firsthand knowledge of that agent, because there's a lot of agents, and a lot of them are just frankly in it maybe for wrong reasons, are not very good. They're not full time. They're in it for a quick buck, and that's what you want to avoid.
Absolutely. I would hate to be in a business contract with somebody that there's no trust there. And a lot of the times that's what I see amongst my friends, and it bothers me. So I make sure I get referred somebody, right? So for everybody listening, Ben Biggs, San Diego area, don't go to Redfin or any of these other companies, right? Because we
No.
don't know them. We want to go to somebody we know. Okay. So I have that. My credit score is just absolutely low. I'm talking like the 490. Is that still even on the credit scale? I mean, I got like a 300. Let's just say it, right? So let's
Yeah.
say we got a really bad credit score. What's the easiest way to improve upon that so that I can be more eligible for different plans?
Yeah, so I think with any sort of credit situation, you kind of start at the beginning, right? And if you're about to take a trip and you punch in the GPS, it says like you are here, right? Like you have a starting point no matter what you're trying to do. And so you just probably start with the lender. You get that pre-approval knocked out. That way they have a read on your pulse, your financial pulse, and they'll take your temperature and they'll say, and they can make recommendations based off of that, and then they can give you a coaching plan or they can refer you to someone. So I would say no matter what you think your credit may be, go ahead and get that pre-approval done. Get one knocked out by another trusted lender, and and then let them kind of tell you where you're at, and then they might have people to refer you to, or you can go find a credit repair specialist. If it's really bad, I recommend maybe reaching out to a credit repair person that can kind of guide you a little bit, or at least start getting heavy on some blogs and like really researching that. I mean, making payments on time for 6 months straight really helps. Paying down some of that high interest debt. It's all credit's all about consistency, right? Just make sure your stuff's on time, and then go from there.
Well, because I definitely know that credit cards have been helpful for me. So I have like 7 credit cards, and I have all the auto payments set on it. And I always monitor these specifically. All of them have the same exact payday throughout the every single month, and
Yeah.
I monitor it, and I adjust the bar up or down. I make extra payments here and there, and my credit score has skyrocketed since really investing into how I regulate that stuff. We have all these everyone likes debit cards, and I don't like debit cards very much. I prefer credit cards for constant purchases, and I just use that, and my credit score has skyrocketed. So I know that credit cards work for me. A lot of people are kind of nervous about credit cards because um, they're not very good at not swiping when they should have
Yeah.
swiped, and so
Yeah. Yeah. Now use them, man. Beat them up. I mean, pay them off and be responsible with them. But I mean, I just you got to have credit history, and that's a big thing. Is like open more don't go open more credit cards if you have so already, because they're also going to dink you on the age of that credit line as well. But I mean, get if you don't have credit cards, get one or two, work on them, pay them down over a period of time. It's going to help you. But man, finances, and I'm not personally very good at finances myself. I'm not the best, but we get along. But finances is just like something a lot about, which is fitness. It's all about the consistency. It's freaking boring. It's painful. Is to sit there and pay your bill every month. It looks like watching paint dry, just like lifting weights and eating right. It sucks eating that salad and the chicken breast, but over time, it's how you build that great credit score and that physique, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. You're 100% right, because abs are definitely built in the kitchen. You
Oh
don't
my God.
you
Tell
can
me
you
about
can. I used to do 300 sit-ups and be pissed off that, like, I used to do 300 sit-ups a day and
it. Yeah,
wonder why my I didn't have this amazing, this is Sparta six pack, and my obliques lining up with my serratus and my pecs popping. I didn't
yeah,
get it. I just couldn't get it. I did the push-ups, I did the sit-ups.
yeah, yeah.
But just like fitness, you nailed it on the head. It is a slow grind, but it is also immediately reimbursive. So everything you invest into your financial stability is going to also key into everything else. I know that when I purchased my first home, I was beating out a reverse mortgage and saving my family's house. And now I have over 300,000 in profit. If I went to sell, I'd have over $350,000. And then so I could just move to Texas and buy a mansion, pretty much, right? So oh man.
That's
So
great.
yeah, and it took time. It took time. I've listened to a lot
Yeah,
of people that are smarter than me. There's kind of a thing and that's exactly one of the reasons why I want to have you on. So let's talk about inversely. If I was to want to sell, what is the first thing that I need to, obviously finding a real estate agent, right, that I can trust, like Ben Biggs in San Diego. So what would I do from there?
yeah. Well, if you want to sell, so I mean, also same thing. Find a referral. I've got a great network of referral agents, so I can get referral for any reputable agent across the country. So I have a great network, and I can always refer someone out. And I always tell people, like, look, keep it with the agents that are military friendly for our military friends here. Because that's a big chunk of my business too, is VA military. So keep it with someone that was either a veteran or does a lot of work with the military, because they're going to understand your PCS and they're going to understand your situation a little bit better. But when you're going to sell your home, you want to. I mean, the biggest thing is a curb appeal and the look of the home, because you're already in. When you bought your home, it's like choose your rate, choose your fate. When you go to buy your home, you're in an area, you're in a market. You can't change the location of the home. The market that you're in is the market that you're in. So the only other factor you can control outside of your own market where you bought is the condition and the appearance of the home. So staging, professional high-res photos, drone videos, tour videos, make the home what I consider like a showroom ready. Like if you were to make your home an IKEA showroom, or someone would come in and be like, this almost looks fake. Like people don't even live here. Well, people do understand that, people have lives and the house is going to look messy, because, I have 3 kids in my house. It's definitely the furthest thing from showroom ready. When you're going to sell it, just like when you sell your car, you want to wax it up, and it's like you don't drive like that all the time, but it looks nice, you know?
Okay. All right. Yeah. So just have it all looking pitch perfect, pretty much. Okay. Sweet. So I have everything show ready. Everything's lined up. I'm working with Ben Biggs. This guy, he's great. He's great. He has a list of different contractors that he personally trusts and he's used in the past. So I'm not hiring the neighbor down the street who says he's been a plumber his whole life and end up getting screwed over,
Yeah,
getting taken as a fool
right.
financially by him. Because I know in the past I've hired contractors and they've done less than great work. And when I hired friends, it really put a wrench in our relationship, because I respected you as a friend, and now you don't show up and you do a piss poor job at work. Now I see why you're having so much job troubles. So I know that do you and your colleagues usually make sure that you have a list of contractors that
Yeah,
they can use? Okay.
yeah. I've got a solid list of people. I've got a ton of great professionals that I do work with. That's the thing, being in the real estate industry, being an agent, we're kind of considered like the tip of the spear in terms of, like, because we're the ones that really go out and talk with the client facing market. So we end up getting a lot of opportunities to network with different service providers. But even then, it's like even someone that I vetted, and like I just had like a situation where I recommended someone that I've used before personally that I use a lot, and they ended up kind of dropping the ball. So it's just like contractors and service providers is so hard. It's a very tough thing. I tell people like, look, I try to only find the best and try to refer people that are at my level of service or higher. But even then, it's you kind of just got to go with the flow.
Mm-hmm. And you can't wear more than 20 hats at a time and just do all the work yourself, because that'd be too much. It'd be too taxing for anybody to do.
Totally.
Okay, so I understand about the couple first steps about buying and selling. So this market and how it fluctuates. I know that there are the best times to buy a home and not the best times to buy a home. What would be a great time to buy a home?
Well, the best time to buy a home is always 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Or it's the best time to buy a home is always in the past
Mm-hmm.
because we have the performance metrics for that market. We don't know what the future is going to bring, but I do know this. Let me ask you a question. Someone bought a home 20 years ago and they kept it, or 15 years ago, and they kept it and they have it to this day. Do you think they're better or worse off because of that?
Much better.
Much better, right? So if someone bought a home today and they kept it for 15 years, 10, 15 years, 20 years, do you think they're going to be better off or worse off?
Absolutely better off.
Yes. Yes. So it's all about starting. Get your mortgage, get your equity buildup, starting it, like get that process going, because that's what's going to end up getting you that big equity like you're sitting on now, is that long term mortgage amortization. As a mortgage do, they slowly pay down over time. So it doesn't necessarily, I mean, it does matter the market. You want to buy the best you possibly can. You obviously want everything in your favor, but don't discount the fact that buying a home has always been a surefire, reliable way to building wealth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know anybody who hasn't isn't very, very well off in their life right now who hasn't gone through at least one or two, if not more than 10 homes. And it could be as simple as buying the home and renting it out to your own family members and establishing a residual income to where the point where you don't have to, we can stack money, or just buying, selling, flipping, and flipping houses.
All, all
Yeah, absolutely. Um, is it good? And this is a question I got from one of my listeners when I talked about having you on. Is it good to buy fixer uppers in your personal opinion?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Dude, buy whatever you can get your hands on, man. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
serious. Real estate, the thing about real estate that makes it scary, and I think that why it's such a great investment is because of the high barrier to entry. The perceived high barrier to entry makes it something that gets put up on this pedestal. But my thing is like, look, as long as you have a game plan, I mean, first of all, I'm a big fan of fixers, and I think that's a really big opportunity for people out there is to buy stuff that's just dated, buy something that's dated or a little bit beat up that you can put some sweat equity into, and then all that's instant equity. Like if you can fix it yourself or get someone to come help you, or just find low cost contractors and repair it, it's instant market equity. Um, I mean, it just depends on your game plan. Buying and selling real estate is one of the best financial decisions that you can make, as long as you come at it correctly with the right knowledge, the right information, and you're willing to just go in and pull the trigger.
Absolutely. And I definitely have had that here. This house is pretty old, and we put the time in it. I've done the 70-hour weeks where I come home and my wife is putting kills on all the walls and not using the right ventilation. So I'm walking into a little bit of a laughing party with the whole family and have to open the windows, and I say, honey, come on. And then we repaint the whole place after
Nice.
she kills it. And next thing I know, I look at my watch and I'm late for work the next day.
Yeah,
I've had those days. You know,
yeah,
we definitely put in the sweat equity, and wow, did it pay off? That's probably the best advice I've ever heard from anybody who works in real estate whatsoever. So if somebody wanted to be like Ben Biggs and have a great repertoire with people who are literally in different states like myself, and um there's not too many things that I can say that I know about you, but I know your reputation because of how you conduct yourself, and you show it. It shows through your work, it shows through your attitude, it shows through you reaching out to other people on their birthdays, and it shows that a lot, man. And it your name always sticks in my mind when I think about the word birthday now. It's kind of crazy because it made you going out of your way and making sure that everybody knows that you're always out there if they need help is what definitely sold me on you. So if I was wanting to get into real estate, what avenue would I go to that you recommend me getting started?
Yeah. And so look, I mean, it's very easy to get into real estate. The biggest thing in getting in started in sales is don't overthink it. Don't sit there and worry about the test. Don't I mean just go take the online courses. There's a ton of resources. You can just take the courses online, get them done, get your license done. I mean, it probably take you 3 to 6 months. Just knock it out. It's not that hard to get. The license is simply a ticket to play. That's all it is. In real estate, there's two sides. There's the transactional real estate business paperwork side, and then there's the people side, the sales side, the personal, the self development stuff, the routine, the mental factor of it, which encompasses like all of that side of things. The discipline side, they're both equally important. The transaction side, it's very hard to learn pre real estate because most of the stuff that's on the license test isn't really put into practice in the day to day life. So if you, it's just like when a new boot checks onto a ship. If you start throwing some boot camp stuff around in your work center when you first check in, they're just gonna laugh. They're gonna laugh you out of the room, or they're gonna tell you to go, go. They're gonna send you on some kind of farce joke run to pick up.
Go charge a chem light.
That's right. Go charge a chem light. So it's just like, dude, same thing in real estate. You got to get your hands dirty, get the license, pass it, get it done, get a mentor, get under a team, start learning in real time. That's the best thing to do. And then not to overthink it, just to get started. And then the start building up which you're really good. You have this piece right now because you can't get in that kind of shape without being seriously mentally tough. So you gotta have the self development side. You have to be reading books. You have to have an early morning routine. You have to be on point with your diet. I mean, I can being a top sales or like wanting to be a top person in sales almost like being an athlete. Like you got to manage your time, you got to manage your life and your day you have to stay high energy. You have to stay motivated for months and months and months with up against seemingly, very, very negative odds of people rejecting you, people telling you to F off. And it's a very hard business, dude. It's very hard to get into, but the rewards are worth it.
Absolutely. Well, I love it. I love your insight and your attitude about it. I'll keep climbing up that hill.
Yes, sir.
You don't have to be a superstar. In my opinion, I don't think that anything I've able to not necessarily master, but become very, very good at, honestly. I haven't had this great starting. Have a great starting point ever. I just had to keep going. And eventually, if you keep throwing something at the wall, hopefully it'll stick eventually. And I really do believe that that time, that discipline, the dedication over time, it builds. And eventually, if you keep stacking stones on each other, you'll be able to climb over that hill.
Yeah,
and I love it, and I absolutely love the process is what builds you into a better person every time. So I will
absolutely.
definitely pass that on. Are you looking to always hire people for under you as a team?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We're always looking to hire. That's our thing. Is like, yeah, we're always hiring the right agent, and that's important. It's got to be someone that's willing to put in serious hours. We're definitely like the team that I'm on. We operate kind of almost like a boiler room type of situation where we have this one big open room. We're all in there, and it's very intense. We're in a group chat. We're always trying to be the first person in the office. We work 6, 7 days a week. I mean, it's just the reality of it. I mean, we get time. We get plenty of time off. I get plenty of time to relax and rebalance. But like, especially early in the career, it's very hard. So we have a lot of new agents. So we're looking for the right agent that wants to put in some work.
Okay. Well, I will definitely. I have this lovely couple, and they're both wanting to get into real estate, and they were in the military with me as well, and I know they have the work ethic. So I will be making sure to send them your way when they do head back to San Diego. So yeah, I trust these people with my life too. So I really think that they'll be able to be an asset to you, and with the right amount of molding and leadership, as always, it will be a very fruitful mentorship program, and they'll be able to ultimately work with you as well. So hopefully. Yeah, man. Well, I do honestly appreciate your time. I know that working and with you got the family, you got your job, you have different things that you're of course working on. Everybody's working on crazy stuff. So I really do appreciate your time and coming on so we could hammer this thing out and get this information out because there's so many people into real estate right now. All my friends are getting into real estate. I just want to shoot guns and have fun with my friends. I don't know, but
Yeah,
all them keep wearing suits every time we go up. I don't know. It's really funny. But thank you so much, because I think real estate is a hot topic right now. I think it's very talked about. A lot of people want to do real estate school. There's a lot of money to be made, and people are realizing that, because my grandpa was in real estate. He used to sell houses all over the place, and he would do whatever it took. He'd give candy to the people's kids when they showed up, and
Yep.
he'd take them to dinner if they needed to sign paperwork. He'd take them to dinner, and having that interpersonal relationship facet or just a skill set, an ultimate skill set of being super personable, just like you are. It really paid off for him. So I wish you continued success, man, and I do appreciate you joining me today.
Love that, dude. Hey, thanks so much for having me, man. It was great to chat with you for a little bit. Yeah, and I'm glad we finally got the chance to meet.
Yeah, man. When I come down to San Diego, I'll make sure to bring a small batch bottle, and we'll have some drinks together or something like that. We'll figure
Let's
it out.
do that, man. Let's go shoot some guns too when you're done here.
Oh yeah. Well, I gotta make sure they're California compliant, and I gotta contact the California Highway Patrol before I show up.
Oh
And then
yeah,
yeah, we can make it happen, dude.
let's do it, man. Love
All
it.
right, brother. Thank you so much. Much love, man.
Thank you, dude. Talk soon.
Yep.
Cheers.
Peace. We spent a lot of time on this podcast talking about mental health, but I want to talk about physical health for a second. There's nothing more uplifting and confidence boosting than looking in the mirror and seeing exactly what you want looking back at you. The person I trust to make sure that's happening, no matter if I'm going through an injury or not, is Brian Click. He's my friend, mentor, coach, and now one of our sponsors here at Off the Deep End. Head over to the link in the description and check out why I choose him. All over his Instagram and his website, you will be seeing the different clients who've worked with him in the past, whether it's bodybuilding or just maintaining a healthy lifestyle or working towards a certain goal in a sport and making sure you make weight. Brian is a guy I trust for every single different category and facet that fitness surrounds. There's nothing more important than liking what you see in the mirror and liking how you feel when you wake up every day. So head over to his website and get this process started.